Hi, I'm Joshua, and today I'm giving you a podcast of Chapter 25, The Beginning of Industrialization. Textiles industrialized first. Industrial revolution that began in Britain was sparked by a revolution of technology. Late 1700s transformed the manufacture of clothes. Demand for clothing in Britain had greatly caused by the agricultural revolution. The development, in turn, had an impact worldwide. For example, the consumption of cotton rose dramatically in Britain. Cotton came from plantations in the American South where cotton production skyrocketed from 1820 to 1860. Around 1764, a textile worker named James Hargreaves invented a spinning wheel he named after his daughter. Richard Arkwright invented the water frame in 1769. This machine used the waterproof from rapid streams to drive spinning wheels. 1793, an American inventor named Ellie Whitman invented a machine to speed the chore. American cotton production skyrocketed from 1.5 million pounds in 1790 to 85 million pounds in 1810. Improvements in transportations. Industries sparked other industrial improvements. Steam engines, steam from the search for a cheap, convenient source of power. As early as 1705, coal miners were using steam-powered pumps to remove water from deep mine shafts. Watt's steam engine. James Watt was a mathematical instrument maker at the University of Glasgow in Scotland. 1765, Scott figured out a way to make the steam engine work faster and more efficiently while burning less fuel. 1774, Watts joined with a businessman named Matthew Boulton. Boulton was an entrepreneur. He paid Watts a salary and encouraged him to build better engines. Water transportation. An American inventor named Robert Fulton ordered a steam engine from Boulton and Watt. He built a steamboat called the Clermont, which made its first successful trip in 1807. Clermont later ferried passengers up and down New York's Hudson River. England water transportation improved with the creation of a network of canals or human-made waterways. Mid-1800s, 4,250 miles of inland channels slashed the coast of transporting both raw material and finished goods. Road transportation. Britain roads improved thanks largely to the efforts of John McAdam, a Scottish engineer in the early 1800s. McAdam equipped roads bed with layer of large stones. For damage, he placed a carefully smoothed layer of crushed rocks. Private investors formed companies that built roads and then operated them for profit. People called new roads turnpikes because travelers had to stop at toll gates, turnstiles, or turnpikes to pay tolls before traveling further. The railway age begins. Steam-driven machinery powered English factories in the late 1700s. Steam engine on wheels, the railroad locomotive drove English industries after 1820. Steam-driven locomotive. 1804, an English engineer named Richard Trevithick won the best of several $1,000s. He did this by hauling 10 tons of iron over nearly 10 miles of track in a steam-driven locomotive. British engineers soon built improved versions of Trevithick locomotive. George Stephenson had gained a solid reputation by building some 20 engines for mine operators in the northern England. 1821, Stephenson began work on the world's first railroad line. It was to run 27 miles from the Yorkshire coal fields to the port of Stockton on the North Sea. 1825, the railroad opened its used four-motive locomotive that Stephenson had designed to build. The Liverpool-Manchester Railroad. Success quickly spread throughout Britain. Entrepreneurs of northern England wanted a railroad line to connect the part of Liverpool with the island city of Manchester. Track was laid in 1829. Trials were held to choose the best locomotive for use on the new line. None could compare with the rocket designed by Stephenson and his son. The locomotive hauled a 13-ton load at an unheard of speed, more than 24 miles per hour. Liverpool-Manchester Railway opened officially in 1803. It was an immediate success. Railroad revolutionized life in Britain. Inventions and imperfections of the locomotive had at least four major effects. First, railroads spurred industrial growth by growing manufactures a cheap way to transport materials and finished products. Second, the railroads boomed, create hundreds of thousands of new jobs for both railroad workers and miners. Third, the railroads boost England agricultural and finishing industries, which could transport their products to distant cities. Finally, by making travel easier, railroads encourage country people to take distant city jobs like a locomotive racing across the country. The Industrial Revolution brought rapid, unsettling changes to people's lives. And this is the end of the podcast of chapter 25,